LeetCode question 2574. So a zero indexed integer array called nums is given, which is of size n, and we need to define two arrays, left sum and right sum. So the left sum is the sum of elements to the left of index I, and right sum is the sum of elements to the right of index I in the array nums. And if there is nothing to the left of the element I, we put it at 0. If there is nothing to the right of element, we put it at 0. So let me show you. So we have got this nums, which is 10, 4, 8, 3. So let me put the indexes. So we create a left sum array. So for element at index 0, to find the value that has to be put over here, we go to the element, we go to the nums and check what's to the left. So there is nothing to the left of this, so we mark it as 0. So this turns out to be 0. Now for the left sum, for element at 1, we go to the nums of 1 and then we see what's to the left of 1. So we see there is 10, so we put it as 10. So we put it as 10. Now to put left sum of 2, we go to the nums of 2 and we see what's to the left, and we calculate the sum. The sum over here is 14, so we put 14 over here. To calculate left sum of 3, we go to nums of 3 and see what is to the left and take the sum. So this is 10 plus 4 plus 8, that turns out to be 22. Similarly, when I have to find the right sum, so this is RS, the array is with element 0, 1, 2, 3. So over here, if I have to, now let me start from the right. Okay, so if I have to find what should we put at index number 3, we go to the nums and see what's on the right. So there is nothing on the right, so we put it as 0. Now to calculate for element number 2, we go to the nums and check what's on the right. So we see there is only 3, so we put 3 over here. Now to calculate for element number 1, we go to nums of 1 and see what's on the right and take a sum. The sum turns out to be 11. And over here for element at index 0, for right sum, we go to the nums array, see what's to the right and take the sum. So this turns out to be 15. And our task over here, it says, is to return an array called answers that is of the same size, where answer of I, that is each element, is left sum of I minus right sum of I and the absolute value of this. So my answer will be of the same size. So this will be the difference. So 15 minus 0, that is 15. 11 minus 10, that turns out to be 1. 3 minus 14, and the absolute of this, that turns out to be 11. 0 minus 22, and the absolute of this turns out to be 22. So this is 15, 1, 11, and 22. Now let me show how to solve this. So this is nums 10, 4, 8, 3. So our step number 1 would be to create a vector called left sum of the same size and initialize all elements to 0. So we initialize all elements to 0. Now we take an iterator I over here. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Initially my I is at index 0. Since for this element over here, we can see that there is nothing to the left of 10. So this is put as 0. So this is perfect. So when my I is 0, I can fill the value of left sum for index number 1. I will show you how. So we can do left sum of I plus 1 is equal to left sum of I plus nums of I. Since nums of I is already storing the values, the sum of values to the left of the element at index I. So over here, when my I is 0, so my left sum of 1 turns out to be left sum of 0 plus nums of 0. So left sum of 0 is already 0 and my nums of 0 is 10. So we get 10. So we put 10 over here. Now we increment I and we will get the value over here. So my I is 1, left sum of, we use this formula over here. So left sum of 2, that is I plus 1, is left sum of 1 plus nums of 1. So left sum of 1 is basically 10 and nums of I is 8. Sorry, nums of 1 is 4. So this turns out to be 14. So we put 14 over here and we increment I. So my I turns out to be 2 now, and we will be filling left sum of 3. So using this formula again, my I is 2. So my left sum of 3 is left sum of 2 plus nums of 2. So my left sum of 2 is 14 and my nums of 2 is 8. So this is 14 plus 8, which turns out to be 22. So this is my left sum vector. So one thing to observe over here is when my I is at 0 for nums, I'm able to fill the first element. Similarly, when my I is at 1, I'm able to fill the second element. And my I is at 2, I'm able to fill the third element. So we iterate I that goes from 0 to, if n is the size, it goes from 0 to n minus 1. This is an important thing to notice. Now I'll calculate the right sum. So my nums is 10, 4, 8 and 3. So this is index 0, 1, 2, 3. And my right sum, my step 1 over here would be to initialize all elements with value 0. And this is index 0, 1, 2, 3. And the formula I will be using is right sum of I minus 1 is right sum of I plus nums of I. I'll show you, it will be clear. So my I over here starts from the right. So I am over here. So my I is equal to 3. So my right sum of 2 is, so if we see for this element over here, that is right sum of at index 3, there is nothing to the right of this. So over here 0 is perfect. Okay, so now we calculate, now we are at I is equal to 3. So right sum of 2 is right sum of 3 plus nums of 3. So my right sum of 3 is 0 and nums of 3 is 3. So right sum of this is 0 plus 3, this is 3. So we put 3 over here. Now we move the iterator. My I goes to the left. So my I is 2. So right sum of 1 is right sum of 2 plus nums of 2. So right sum of 2 is 3 and nums of 2 is 8. So this is 11. So I put 11 over here. Now we move the iterator to the left again. So my I of 1 is equal to right sum of 0, which is right sum of 1 plus nums of 1. Right, my right sum of 1 is 11. So this is 11 plus nums of 1. So this is 4. So this turns out to be 15. So this is 15. So we update these values which were initially set to 0. One thing to observe is when we are at I is equal to 3, we fill 2 over here. When we are at I is equal to 2, we fill 1. And when we are at I is equal to 1, we fill 0. So basically I am traversing from, if my size So if my size is n, I'm going from index n minus 1 to 1, not 0. Okay. So we have got the left sum and the right sum arrays. And then to calculate answer, we take basically the absolute of this minus this. So this is the mod of a minus b, and then we traverse and then return answer. Now I will code in Rust. We create n, that is the length of the given nums array, and then we create a mutable vector called left sum. So over here we initialize all values to 0, and this is of the same size. And now we create a right sum, which is also a vector initialized all elements to 0 and the size being n, and we create an answer as well. Our first task is to traverse and get the left sum array. So we start from I and it goes from 0 to n minus 1, and we do left sum of I plus 1 is equal to left sum of I plus nums of I. Similarly, when we have to calculate all elements for the right sum. So we start from n and then we go in reverse. So yes, and we do right sum of I minus 1 is equal to right sum of I plus nums of I. At end we traverse for both these and then we return the answer. So what we do is for I in 0 to n, we get the answer. So answer of I is basically the absolute value of left sum and the right sum, the difference of that. So we have left sum of I minus right sum of I, and then we return the answer. Let me submit this. So we get a wrong answer. Let me see if there is some error. So for left sum, we start from 0 and go to n minus 1. So my left sum of I plus 1 is left sum of I plus nums of I. This is fine. And for right sum, we start from n and go up till 1 and in the reverse order. Okay, sorry, this should be I. Now let me submit it.